Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and that's right, finally reviewing this Marvel film. And I'm not doing this alone, because I have with me my good friend, Anchorman.
Hello there.
Yep, because we are in fact reviewing this very well-known Marvel film, definitely, because this took off when it first came out, and golly, because it was perfect. It nailed this one famous Marvel hero, portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, and that being Deadpool. Yes, so again, finally, we're reviewing this, both me and Anchorman, we're reviewing this, and I gotta say, for me, I'll go ahead and start. For me, when I watched this for the first time, I really enjoyed this film. Oh my gosh, because it's so good with everything that goes on, and as I said, because with Ryan Reynolds' portrayal of Deadpool, just 100% perfect. He fit the role like a glove. Not to mention that for years, Ryan Reynolds had been trying to, do a faithful version to the character. And I think we all should know that, the first time Ryan Reynolds, he did his best, portraying Deadpool / Wade Wilson was in, can't deny it, the disastrous X-Men film, X-Men Origins Wolverine. We all know how that turned out, and, poor Ryan Reynolds, again, I'm sure that he did his best. But when this came out, things got much better for the character of Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds, once again, portraying Deadpool / Wade Wilson. Finally seeing Wade Wilson in the red famous suit, just everything, I tell ya. All right, and we'll now come to you, Anchorman. Anchorman, what are the first things you have to say about Deadpool and what you thought of it?
I think this movie's really good, great, because, it kind of just fixes what they originally did with Deadpool. They actually gave him a good costume, and Ryan Reynolds is, really good as this character. I couldn't see anyone else playing him. And,
Me neither.
It's like a parody. It, makes fun of what they originally did. And that's what I like about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Rightfully so, making fun of, his last betrayal, stuff like that. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm sure you guys do too, so makes sense. But, alright, so I'll go ahead and read the description / story, as I always do. A wisecracking mercenary gets experimented on and becomes immortal, yet hideously scarred, and sets out to track down the man who ruined his looks. So how this film plays out, well, first off, the opening credits is funny, because no normal credits. Instead, we get these, random credits. Do you remember what some of the credits said?
Had, just a bunch of cuss words, and, I'm pretty sure it just makes fun of the writers or directors, maybe.
And I think one of them said, we have a hot chick in this film, so...
Yeah. I think we even see, a Green Lantern card.
Yes, yeah, there are a few Green Lantern jokes in this, and in its sequel, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get some pretty funny credits, and then we, boom, smash down, see Deadpool. He's in a taxi cab, and, the taxi driver, how do you pronounce his name? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Doppender? You know me. You know me. Sometimes, guys, how I pronounce names and words. So,
yeah.
And played by Karen Soni, and so he's Deadpool's taxi driver, and there's with the taxi driver character, because he is in love with this Indian chick, and his cousin is with the Indian chick that, you know, he's in love with and such. So, you know, the cousin got to her first, and like Deadpool kind of giving him advice about love and such. And we see that Deadpool, like, he's about to just unleash hell, basically. Another way to put it, unleash chaos, because, you know, killing and going after bad guys. And we see one of the main villains of the film, which being Ajax, if I'm saying that name right. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he's like a boss.
Yeah, he's what?
Like a mob boss.
Yeah. And he's also a mutant, and his real name is Francis, played by Ed Scarin. I hope I said the last name right. And basically, like, Deadpool comes up to a bridge, and he's waiting for the bad guys to show up. And then, you know, when the bad guys arrive, that's when, like, he starts killing them. He's got, like, is it 10 or 12 bullets that he has?
I think so. He, like, counts, like, all the people he kills.
That's right, yeah. And so doing that, and this, like, what's going on the bridge, like, you know, it's on the news, and this captures the attention of the X-Men. We see the X-Mansion / the Xavier School, and we get two mutants, and that are part of the X-Men. Colossus, being voiced by Stephen Kapasis, I hope I'm saying the last name right too, and let me see, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, played by Brianna Hildebrand. I don't think I got it. Maybe I'm just about right, but I don't know. So these are the only two mutants that we see, and from the X-Mansion, like, you know, it's unfortunate. No Cyclops, no Xavier, no Storm, just these two. At least we get Colossus, even though it's a totally different Colossus, and he's got a Russian accent. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you?
Like comics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that was in the comic. That's in the comics. Him having a Russian accent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What'd you think of this Colossus in Deadpool?
I like how he's kind of like a sort of strict parent towards Deadpool. Like,
yeah.
if he does bad, he'll like tell Deadpool he's wrong. I thought it's funny.
Exactly. And how, you know, this Colossus, like, he's also a nice Colossus, always, you know, calm and when having conversations, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, like, it captures their attention on what Deadpool's doing, and according to Colossus, he had been trying to get Deadpool to join the X-Men for quite a while, and basically, you know, trying to convince Deadpool to be a hero, because technically, like, Deadpool was kind of an anti-hero, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I should have figured. So with Deadpool killing the bad guys, and, you know, basically he's going after the main mob boss, which, as you mentioned, and which being Francis. And then, like, with that going on, well, we get some backstory. And apparently, starting 2 years ago, we see a normal, regular Wade Wilson, and it's kind of nice for what Wade is doing, because him going after, you know, men, like, harassing and, you know, going after women and such, just like what he did, where he goes after this pizza delivery guy, and then he comes to the girl where, I guess, yeah, the pizza guy harassed her, and, you know, how Wade took care of the pizza guy and so on. And, you know, we see that Wade, he hangs out at a local bar, and the guy who runs the bar being Wesley, played by T.J. Miller. So anything you want to say on, like, the bar and, you know, with Wesley?
I feel like I do like Wesley, because, I don't know, I see him as, like, a best friend character to Deadpool.
Yeah.
Even in the present and, like, Deadpool 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good friends.
Yep, and then we then see, at one point, Wade bumping into who would be his love interest, Vanessa, being played by Marina Baccarin.
She's in Gotham.
Yes, and she's also in Firefly. So, If anybody remembers that show, who would not remember Firefly? So, and by the way, not to mention, she's actually married to what's him face who played Commissioner Gordon. So
I think it's Ben McKenzie.
That's right. So we see that Wade and Vanessa, they hit it off, and they have so much in common. And what their childhood was like what their fathers were like, and Vanessa, brought up that she slept in the dishwasher, I think dishwasher box, I'm pretty sure, and they go for like balls and holes, and literally balls and holes, like at an arcade place. You throw the ball, goes into the hole, and you get tickets and so on. And like Wade and Vanessa going for prizes, like Wade goes for something that's Voltron, and Vanessa goes for an eraser. And then we get a little montage of basically like throughout I guess the whole year, like from Chinese New Year, Halloween, Thanksgiving, a sex montage. So I know. It's also kind of hilarious, so...
It's a lot of graphic stuff.
I know. Hence, this got an R rating, so...
Yeah, don't show your kids this.
No, not yet, at a certain age. And then, like, I think around New Year's or Christmas, they've got Christmas sweaters. Vanessa was going to ask Wade something, and Wade was going to ask Vanessa something as well. Do you remember what Vanessa was going to ask Wade?
Not sure, but like, isn't this the part where he like collapses and it's revealed he has cancer?
Well, before that, he popped the question to Vanessa if she would marry him, and he had a ring. He had a ring pop, not an actual ring.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, apparently because he kept it by his butt, I want to say.
Oh.
I think so. Well, yeah, basically. So that's all we need to know. And yeah, I guess a ring pop is fine, not actual.
Candy.
What's that?
It's a good candy.
Yeah, and it's a ring pop, hence a ring pop. So that could be acceptable for like a proposal, I guess. So, but after the engagement happens, not long, just like a few seconds after that, like, Wade like narrating, and we hear his voice, and then there's one moment where Wade, he collapses, and like you said, like, go ahead.
He like collapses, and it's revealed he has cancer.
That's right. And yep, this basically changes a lot for Wade and Vanessa, and what's wrong with him. And Vanessa, and according to Wade, because Vanessa having a plan A to Z, a lot of attempts to save Wade's life, and yeah, very sweet of her. And then like when we cut back to present time, on the bridge, and at one moment, because I think Deadpool, he has Francis, at sword point, like a sword to his his shoulder, I want to say, and Colossus and Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, coming in and confronting Deadpool, convincing him to be a hero and all that stuff, and still we still get some backstory of what happens, and more with Wade and Vanessa, and then one moment where Wade, he's back at the bar, and then he meets with because Wesley tells Wade that there's an agent that wants to speak with him, and that being he's credited as the recruiter. But do you remember the agent's name?
I think it started with a Z, but Deadpool calls him Agent Smith because he looks like him.
Okay, yeah, but the recruiter, again, as he's credited, the recruiter being played by Jed Reese, and Jed Reese would be best known, and for me, would be best known for being one of the Thermians in Galaxy Quest, who had those famous lines, but the animal is inside out, and it exploded. That's him. So he's the recruiter, and I think, as Wesley put it at best, I think it was either Wesley or Wade that said this, like, basically death, because with the black, cloak and so on, basically that, I guess that's the best way to put at it with the recruiter. And the recruiter telling Wade that he and others are well aware of Wade's cancer diagnosis, and they can help and cure Wade. And Wade I don't think Wade, he doesn't bring this up to Vanessa. And Vanessa, she wants to help Wade, but for Wade, well, he thinks that this could be the best opportunity. And, there's one more moment between Wade and Vanessa. They're in bed, and, that's when Wade, he decides that I'm going to do this, and, he leaves Vanessa without even, letting her know where he's going, not even saying goodbye, just, probably I would assume that he thinks that this wouldn't take that long to do this, but nope, because once he goes in, do you want to take it from here about what happens next?
Doesn't he, go to, the lab where he's gonna get turned into the powers he has, and he, pretty sure he, references, that he shouldn't get, a green costume because he hates Green Lantern.
Yeah, he says, don't make the super suit green or animated, and just what was shown, and that being shown in the trailers, that was pretty funny. And we also see Angel Dust, played by Gina Carano, aka Cara Dune, in The Mandalorian. So before The Mandalorian, she was in this. They do cure Wade, but there's more to it. Because again, there's a little montage, and the song that they play, Mr. Sandman, going along with what's happening with Wade, him getting tortured, experimented on. He's in in a freezing cold ice bath, and him being experimented on and so on. And there's one moment where he gets mutated, and his face and his whole body getting scarred, and technically he becomes a mutant, right? Because Deadpool is a mutant. Deadpool is a mutant, correct?
Yes, because he can generate for anything.
Right. I just wanted to refresh my mind on that. And and here's another thing, because we do see that Deadpool, whenever he gets shot, like we saw early on the bridge in present time, when he gets a bullet through his arm, we see that it starts to heal. He has that same healing power like Wolverine does. So
yeah.
So they have that in common, both Wolverine and Deadpool. And we still cut back to, what happens on the bridge. And, one moment where Francis got away and Deadpool just losing it on and blaming Colossus and Teenage Warhead. And at one point, Deadpool just, fist fighting and trying to punch Colossus. But when, he punches his chest and so on, he literally breaks his arms. It's funny, isn't it?
Doesn't he kick him in the nuts?
Yeah, he does. He does kick him in the nuts, and it hurts his foot, and it breaks his foot. But that's when Colossus, he puts Deadpool on handcuffs and, taking him to see the professor. And this was pretty funny because Deadpool, saying, Stewart or McAvoy, this timeline doesn't make any sense. And I think Deadpool does have a point because it's never established. Deadpool, from what I understand, the Deadpool films, Deadpool 1 and 2, they take place in the X-Men universe with, the X-Men films with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Is that correct? Do you know this? Do you know this as well?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, yeah. So the first Deadpool film, neither Deadpool 2... not really, but until, we review Deadpool 2, they don't really explain the timeline and, how old, Charles Xavier is. If it's Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, or if it's, say, maybe, say, in the 90s. I don't know, because, again, they never established this. So...
It's modern day.
Modern day?
Yeah.
So technically that would mean, we would have, say, older Charles Xavier, which being Patrick Stewart, and, James Marsden as Cyclops and Halle Berry as Storm, don't you think?
Yeah, I think they showed like the younger X-Men from the newer ones in like the second movie, but I don't know.
Yeah, like for a funny cameo, but again, until we get to Deadpool 2 down the road. So, anyways, so back to it. Deadpool, there's one moment where Deadpool, like, he cuts his hand off literally, just like taking his time, cutting it, and, you know, he escapes from them, and he jumps off the bridge and lands on a garbage truck. And continuing on, like, for the backstory, because Wade, you know, after getting mutated, like, he becomes a mutant, and he's scarred, you know, his whole body being messed up, and his face, he's bald, and, you know, Francis still, like, taunting him, and there's one moment where Wade, he actually head bumps, I mean, I think the correct term is head punching Angel Dust, and, you know, Francis at times in the movie asking Wade, "What's my name?" And, you know, Wade, he doesn't say anything, and that's because he stole a match from Angel Dust, because Angel Dust was kind of like having matches in her mouth, right? Like, I don't know, her way of toothpicks, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so he stole a match from Angel Dust, and he uses the match to, well, light it up, and basically, like, get it in the air vent, I want to say, yeah, and which causes, as the fire travels its way through the air ducts, well, it causes a big explosion, and a confrontation between Wade and Francis, and, well, there's one moment where Francis, he impales, Wade, you know, that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He like uses a pipe.
A pipe, yeah. Pipe, I think that's what it is, yeah. Francis, once again, asking him, "What's my name?" And, you know, he leaves him to die. Well, not really, but, you know, just leaves him there to suffer, even though, like, well, Wade does, you know, get out of there. And thus, you know, he at one point tries to, you know, see Vanessa again, and a moment where everybody is looking at Wade, and apparently because Wade can hear what people are saying in their minds, like, does Deadpool actually have that?
I don't think so. He's
well,
like...
Well, I mean, it's like, I mean, we hear it, we hear the voices, and I don't know. It's
what's in his head.
Yeah, like, he's thinking of what they might be saying, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And and when he meets up with Wesley, because, you know, when he shows his face to Wesley, you know, because Wesley's saying, like, you know, "You look like an avocado had sex with an old avocado," so.
The guy calls him Freddy Krueger or something.
I don't think I remember that. Him, probably so. You know what? Because, you know, Wade Wilson just about looks like Freddy Krueger because of the face, you know?
Yeah.
And so, at one point, Wade, you know, and at the bar, because Wade comes up with a name for his, like, hero, identity, etc., and on the chalkboard, you know, because of the word Deadpool, you know.
Deadpool.
Yep. Like, basically, like, what was on the chart, because, like, betting on someone getting their butt kicked, I guess, like, do you know what that's about on the chalkboard?
He has, like, a bunch of people he's after. He's, like, it's, like, his first step in, like, his assassination job.
Yeah. Okay, but on the chalkboard, because, you know, the words Deadpool and, yeah, again, he comes up with the name Deadpool, but for, like, at one point saying Captain Deadpool, but, you know, just sticking with Deadpool, and starts, like, having, like, a white costume on, and, you know, attacking, you know, a bunch of crooks, you know, and trying to know and, like, locate where Francis is, questioning them, and then he kills them. But then at one point, like, he gets, like, red on his white clothes and trying to wash them off. And then there's one moment where, like, at the washing place, where he meets with a blind Al, played by Leslie Uggams, I hope I'm saying the last name right. Anything to say on Blind Al?
Isn't she like a mentor towards Deadpool? Like she's like that wise character Deadpool can go to for problems.
I guess you could say, yeah.
Is she
Um,
like blind in real life?
no, I don't think so.
That's
Not the
good.
actress, you know. So that's where Wade first meets Blind Owl. She mentions something about red, and thus he wears like red clothing and so on, and with a mask. Like the first Deadpool costume for him, and like there's holes through the eyes, and questioning the crooks and where their boss is, Francis, and the mask is muffling his mouth, and that's when he makes a brand new and much better looking suit, and thus the main suit that Deadpool wears, Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, that he wears. And then at one moment we then come to where he encounters and what's the word? At gunpoint, I guess you could say, pinned to a vehicle, which being the recruiter, Jed Reese's character. And you know what? Because here's the thing: it's the recruiter that started it all, and he is responsible for the creation of Deadpool. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, like the creation of the Joker.
Exactly. You made me, remember? So it's very fitting that the recruiter is like one of the last victims that Deadpool goes after. Again, it's the recruiter who started this all, and he's the one who created Deadpool. And questioning the recruiter where Francis is. And here's another thing that we didn't get to talk about yet: the breaking the fourth wall moments. What do we have to say on those?
I always loved it when Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. It's because he can just basically make fun of, I guess, Marvel in general, and I guess the audience, maybe?
Exactly, yeah. And then there's one moment, and even one moment where Deadpool is talking to us audience, and even Colossus is like I don't know, you don't have to say that to me or something like that. And Deadpool's, he says to Colossus, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. And when he has the recruiter at gunpoint, pinned to a car, he looks at us audience and he moves the camera aside you don't want to see this. And yeah, because obviously Deadpool does something very brutal to the recruiter, and thus, the recruiter is dead. And then we see Deadpool, because what he does next, getting in the taxi and going to the bridge, and where he's gonna wait and meet up with the bad guys, and Francis being there. And another funny moment, and another break the fourth wall moment, as a lot of it in this film, where Deadpool, he fast forwards to what we saw at the beginning, and where we go to, we see him in the garbage truck because he escaped from Colossus and Teenage Warhead, and him getting out of the garbage truck, and he moves in with Blind Owl, and funny moments between Wade and Blind Owl, and the conversations that they have, and especially since Wade's hand that he cut off, it's starting to grow back. You think that's funny too, right? Because where we see Wade and his arms and his hands growing back, and they're like tiny little baby hands,
Yeah, so like reborn or something.
Yeah, even another funny moment where he asks Blind Owl to leave the room because what he's going to do next with his tiny hand. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's big for his tiny hand. That's all I'm gonna say. Once again, Wade is gonna he's gonna do it this time. He's going to walk up to Vanessa and say something to her because, it had been quite a while since Wade had left Vanessa. Like I said, because I get, from what I can tell, this is me. I'm guessing because Wade thought that this would be quick, he'd get this done and over with, being cured, and then he would go straight back to Vanessa. Don't you think as well?
He probably did think he could easily get cured, but then he didn't think of the risk involved for it.
Yeah, because he would be stuck there and being experimented on. Yeah, so he didn't see Vanessa for quite a while. And when he finally does, like, he's going to talk to Vanessa because both him and Wesley, they go to this, like, strip club, I want to say. That's what it is, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, who else but to be at the strip club, we get a cameo from Stan Lee. He's like an announcer at a strip club, and that was a hilarious cameo from Stan Lee, don't you think?
Yeah, he's willing to even be in a Deadpool movie.
He's what?
He's willing to be in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I mean, any Marvel film in general. I mean, there have been a couple of Marvel films where he didn't cameo, but he pretty much had cameoed in a lot of the MCU films, from Phase 1 and to Phase 3. So, and so, yeah, because again, Stan Lee, he's there. He's like an announcer on the microphone, and Wade, about to walk up to Vanessa because she's working at the strip club, not as a stripper, but like a waitress, basically, handling beverages and stuff like that. But Wade, he chickens out, and even he's talking to himself as he goes into the bathroom, like, come on, Wade, pull yourself together. Yeah, like, that's understandable. But then, at one point, somebody at the strip club, tells Vanessa that there's someone that wants to see her out back, and, well, maybe it's Wade, and I'm sure that some people would get that feeling, because it's been in some movies where, wait a second, maybe it's not, and of course it's not Wade who wants to see Vanessa out back, it's Francis, because a little bit earlier, Francis and his, goons, they invaded the bar that Wesley, runs, and threatening Wesley about Wade and so on. And it was pretty cool because, well, at one point, Angel Dust had, Wesley by the neck, and everybody in the bar just pulled their guns out. And, that shows, like, good loyalty from the customers, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So after that, well, Francis discovers a picture of Wade and his girl, Vanessa, and thus, they know that Vanessa is the perfect, target, and to get Wade's attention and so on. Thus, Francis, Angel Dust, they capture Vanessa, and, of course, Wade and Wesley, they find out about this, and, Wade packing up his gear and putting it, in his backpack. And do you remember the type of backpack that Wade had? Was it, like, unicorn themed or something?
Yeah, he has, like, a sort of theme with his stuff he has. He also has, like, an Adventure Time watch, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think I forgot about the Adventure Time watch. But I also know, like, he kind of had, like, a stuffed unicorn at one point, and a funny moment where we cut to him with a unicorn, like you don't need to see this, like that part right there. But anyways, so with Deadpool packing up his gear, and once again, he catches a ride in a taxi with the same taxi driver that he rode with, and as it was mentioned, because the taxi driver, because of the girl that he loves, but his cousin is with the girl, and but by the way, before that, Deadpool got help and some teamwork from Colossus and Teenage Warhead, and it didn't take that long for them to be convinced by Deadpool to join him and to save Vanessa. And Deadpool had a good point, because as he says to Teenage Warhead that, you're the only two that I see in the X-Mansion. The studio couldn't afford other X-Men. That was pretty funny, and Deadpool had a good point, don't you think?
Yes, it's like making fun of, like, oh, you can't bother to get the other X-Men in this movie. I
know. It's amazing, like, how at times Wade Wilson / Deadpool makes fun of, like, say, the studio, like, 20th Century Fox. You get my point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what's great. And so, yeah, so Colossus and Teenage Warhead, they join Deadpool. They're in the taxi, and apparently the taxi driver, I guess, like, put his cousin in the trunk. And, like, Deadpool's saying, like, and telling Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead that, I did not encourage him to do that, but he's quietly saying to him, like, that is epic, but going back and forth, telling them, like, this is a big mistake and I disagree with this, kill him, like, that was pretty funny. Deadpool just quietly encouraging him to do bad things to his cousin. That was funny. And then we come to where Deadpool, Colossus, and Negasonic, they find and, come to the location where Francis, his goons, and Angel Dust, they're at this, dumpster place with, wrecked, Navy ships. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specific name for, the location, and with, a wreckage of a Navy ship, I know that's, I assume that's what it's supposed to be, but,
That ship looked good looking. They did a good job of whatever they did to make that scene happen.
Yeah, they absolutely did, with the visual effects and so on, absolutely. Well, and especially, one moment that happens with the the wreckage of the Navy ship, which, when we get to that. So, confronting Francis and his goons, and Deadpool, he forgot his gear, because in his backpack, and it was left behind in the taxi car, and Deadpool calling the taxi driver, he's trying to get his phone, but also trying to drive and concentrate, but then he hits into a truck, and then a car behind him hits his taxi car, and kind of wounding his cousin. So I guess that takes care of his cousin. And so, yeah, no luck, and thus Deadpool, as he says, doing it the old-fashioned way, but of course, with the help of Colossus and Negasonic, taking on the goons, and, Negasonic's powers, it's she has, fire powers, is that correct?
I think so.
Yes, Deadpool, curious on what her powers are, I guess, we see her unleash her powers, and fighting that happens between Colossus and Angel Dust. And Angel Dust, she's a mutant as well, and her powers are basically, she has powerful super strength, punching, literally the daylights out of Colossus, and just punching Colossus at times, fight between them. Deadpool and Negasonic, they take on the goons. Even at one point, Deadpool tells her to look back because he's ripping out his underwear, making it the surrender flag. That's funny. And even say they put Vanessa, I should say, Vanessa, not Francis. Vanessa in this container, and making at one point making her suffocate, no breathing. And a funny moment that happens between Colossus and Angel Dust. You know what I'm about? You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Where Angel Dust's boob slips out, and Colossus, obviously he's covering her boob, especially to us audience, and he's telling Angel to, it slipped out, and even Angel Dust, is telling Colossus, that's very sweet of him and such, thanking him. But, after that, go straight back to the fighting, and at one point, Angel hits Colossus in the nuts, and, even say, Colossus, he is, fighting back at Angel Dust and has her pinned down to the ground at one point, but then there's one moment where, Angel, is strangling Colossus by the neck, and Negasonic does step in and, help out Colossus, of course. And for Deadpool, him climbing up to the top of the Navy ship and, trying to save Vanessa, and by doing so, throwing one of his swords, to cause a crack in the container, which, that does help her. And at one point, Negasonic unleashes her powers, like very powerful, and causes everything to like get destroyed, and an explosion, and that defeats Angel Dust, and it causes the Navy ship to tip over, and and Francis, Vanessa, and Deadpool, they slip down as well. Francis, he falls, and Deadpool, he catches Vanessa by the hand. And you have anything to say on that part?
Something like ship like this Titanic or something.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think, as you said, like, good visual effects right there, and with what happens with the Navy ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it like it tips over and it crashes? Yeah, it wrecks. So, and Francis, he's not defeated, and, well, in one moment where Colossus and Negasonic, they get her out of the container, well, because Deadpool put her back in the container to keep her safe, but they get her out, and Francis, once again, taking on Deadpool, and, Deadpool is this close to defeating Francis and having him at gunpoint, but Colossus, once again, stepping in and convincing and giving a speech to Deadpool about being a hero.
And he just kills him.
Yeah, exactly, because, like, he's still going, Colossus is still going on, and, like, Deadpool, he just shoots him, and, and Colossus, he vomits, like, that's funny. And, like, well, as Deadpool says, you were going on, like, however he says. And, even, like, say, there was one moment where, well, because Vanessa, like, she took on Francis by, well, stabbing him with one of Deadpool's swords, and Deadpool looking at Vanessa, and, like, little cartoon, like, unicorns and hearts show up, and Deadpool doing a heart, and then, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So, but yeah, Vanessa and Deadpool / Wade Wilson, they finally reunite, and, of course, like, Wade Wilson gives a good explanation to Vanessa because of his disappearance, and it had been quite a while, and, preparing Vanessa what to expect, underneath the mask, and when she takes off the mask, because, she does say that she's willing to take the chances, and by taking off the mask, what happens, right?
It shows, like, Hugh Jackman's face.
Yeah, because, like, Wade, because we at one point saw a magazine that had Hugh Jackman on the cover, and yeah, because Wade, he cut the face of Hugh Jackman off and he taped it on his face. It was pretty funny.
They also had a Ryan Reynolds magazine.
That's right, yeah, they did. And even Wade Wilson mentioning Ryan Reynolds by name, so...
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so, yeah, Vanessa, she sees Wade's face, how he looks now, and, she's perfectly fine with it. Has no problem whatsoever. And a little talk between, one more talk between Colossus and Negasonic, Colossus telling him that, being an X-Men and so on, and, Deadpool telling them to, do you mind, and go make something of yourselves, and, they leave, and we get one more romantic kiss from Vanessa and Deadpool, and the song that plays, do you remember the song that plays as the movie ends?
I don't know, so my dad really likes this song. It's like, I don't know, it's like this saxophone, like, solo song. I forget what it's called. It's like one of those classy songs.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, both me and Anchorman, we forget the name of the song that plays, so sorry. You can let us know in the comments section if you want to. And the credits are pretty funny because, like, a little bit of animation with Deadpool it's funny. And of course, like with any Marvel film, we do get an end credit scene, and this end credit scene with Deadpool, of course, is a parody of the end credit scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, even like having like the bathrobe that Ferris wears, and Deadpool wearing the same kind of bathrobe, and, like, he says to us audience, like, oh, you were expecting a teaser? Well, we don't have the money for it, and you were expecting, Sam Jackson, and guy with the eye patch, and, and then he says, well, for the sequel, we're gonna have Cable, maybe Mel Gibson, Keira Knightley. It's funny, and there's one more piece of end credits that shows, and then we cut back to Deadpool, and like the very last thing he says right before the movie ends is, in like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and boom, that's how the movie ends right there. Like, what a great way to end Deadpool, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah. Deadpool, I tell you, because what a great Marvel film this is, you know, a movie adaptation of a comic book superhero, like Marvel, you name it. Wait, and what about you, Anchorman?
It's a good way to introduce Deadpool. Like I said, it fixes what people were complaining about for Deadpool, and it respects Deadpool, and that's what I like about the movie.
And, you know, what happened with the character of Deadpool at first in Wolverine X-Men Origins.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And they got it right, you know, when this film happened, you know, they got the character of Deadpool right. Ryan Reynolds finally succeeded, you know, doing a faithful version of the character of Wade Wilson / Deadpool. He succeeded.
Do you like him as Green Lantern?
What's that?
Do you like him as Green Lantern?
You know, because I think he did okay, and I'm sure he did his best, but I can't deny it, because we all know how bad that film turned out. Mm-hmm. That's all I need to say. You didn't like Green Lantern as well?
It's an alright movie. I reviewed it 2 years ago, but I think I thought it was okay.
Yeah, and I'm with you too. I thought it was okay as well. And besides, yeah, the Green Lantern jokes a couple of Green Lantern jokes that this and its sequel make, and you know, and when we get to Deadpool 2. So, all right, so how do we rate the first Deadpool film? Good question. We'll start with you, Anchorman. How do you rate the first Deadpool film?
Maybe like an 8.
8 out of 10 stars?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, for me, what the heck, and it's on my mind. I'm giving this a full-blown 10 out of 10 stars. That's right, 10 out of 10 stars for Deadpool, and for Anchorman, he gives this, 8 out of 10 stars. 8 out of 10 stars for Anchorman, and again, for me, 10 out of 10 stars. But yeah, again, Deadpool, what a great Marvel film this is. Just everything about it, as I said, is perfect, don't you think?
I think so.
Yep. And it was great to have you, Anchorman, for this.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Yep, and until you know, we review another Marvel film. So yeah, definitely. So what about you guys? What do you think of the first Deadpool film, and what did you think of our review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed our review of the first Deadpool film, and once again, it was great to have you for this, Anchorman.
Thank you.
Yep, and any last words, you know, saying goodbye?
Farewell, and I love Deadpool.
Me too, and I'm sure some of you guys do as well. So again, we hope you've enjoyed our review of the first Deadpool film. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and we'll see you guys in the next video / review. And stay tuned later this week, because the next Marvel film that I'll be reviewing, which being in the MCU, has to do with a hero involving 10 rings. Stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.